Alright there everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Costall On Set. We have another great show for you today featuring great days, Kim and Kopi, as well as episode 3 of Cooking with Clifford and Daring Adventure. Like I said, it's going to be a great show, so stick around and let's check out some cooking by our great chef Clifford.
Alright, welcome back to Cliff's Kitchen. We're going to be making some lasagna today. We have our onion. We're going to chop it up because we're going to be cooking it in the saucepan with some mild Italian sausage. Alright, so we're going to be making a sauce right now. It's going to be a meat sauce. So we're going to take half of this large onion. We're going to, chop it up nice and fine. And we're going to take our garlic here. And then again, too, we're going to break this up, chop it up nice and fine, nice and minced. Set the stove to about medium-high temperature. We're going to toss in the onion and the garlic in at the same time so that gets gets all nice and flavorful. And we're gonna try to break up the meat, like I said earlier, real fine, nice and small chunks, because we want our lasagna to be layered pretty evenly. We don't want some lopsided mumbo jumbo. Put in the onion. But we're gonna be cooking about 12 lasagna noodles. I like to put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in my water, to add a little bit of flavor. So we'll put a little bit of that, keep the noodles from sticking also. And then to season our sauces, we're gonna be using a little bit of oregano, fresh oregano, just basic salt and some, garlic powder. So as you can see, our meat is already starting to brown. So I'm breaking it up a little. I might actually get a wooden spatula just so I could break it up a little finer. So now that the meat is mostly cooked and we have our water boiling, we're gonna take this lid off and we're gonna take our lasagna noodles and we're gonna put them in for, they say to cook for about 8 to 9 minutes, but we're gonna undercook them slightly because they'll cook the rest of the way while baking in the oven. And we are going to take our 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. We're gonna pour it in over the meat mixture that we made. And then salt and pepper to taste. So our noodles are just about done. We are going to be draining them soon. And we're gonna rinse it with cold water so the noodles don't stick together, because we're gonna need them all individually as we layer the lasagna. So here we have our noodles drained. Just gonna rinse those off. This gets all the extra starch off the noodles too, and that's really what makes the noodles stick together. All right, so now that we have all of our main components for our lasagna, we are gonna be taking our sauce first, and we're gonna just do like a nice little base layer. And then we are also gonna take our lasagna noodles, the ones that we had in the cold water, and we are going to lay them flat and, along with the pan. We're gonna take about 3 to 4. And then next we're gonna take our ricotta cheese. And we're gonna spread a nice, thin layer of ricotta cheese just along the noodles. And then we're gonna get our mozzarella cheese. We got some store-bought mozzarella. We have two. We have regular mozzarella and mozzarella with Parmesan. A little over a pound. So as you see, I'm taking big handfuls. This is the mozzarella Parmesan mixture. I'm gonna do a combination of both. So that's our first base layer right here. And this casserole is gonna bake at 350 for about half an hour. I would cover it with, tin foil, not all the way wrapped tight, but like a nice loose so there could be some airflow still. And that should leave the cheese nice and gooey and melty by the time it's done baking. A little bit of that Salt Bay action, you dig? You see we have our last 3 noodles left. And this layer doesn't have to be quite as thick. We're gonna do our final sauce layer. We're gonna get some more of our mozzarella and parm mixture now. We're gonna just cover the whole layer so you almost can't see the sauce, Doesn't have to be too thick, but just, pretty nice, even blanket. We're gonna cover it with some tin foil. Just a nice little something or other like that. And the final step is just to throw it in the oven at 350 or 375 degrees for 30 minutes. You could check on it at about the 25-minute mark, maybe pull the foil off and give it the next 5 to 10 minutes, and you will have yourself a lasagna. We got about a minute left on our timer here, and about 5 minutes earlier, I pulled the foil that we had on top of our lasagna. That allowed the cheese to melt at a faster rate, and it's looking pretty darn done to me right now. So we're gonna take this baby out, set this down underneath the pan, and voila. So this is our lasagna. Bon appetit. All right.
And welcome back from episode 3 of Cooking with Clifford. Like I said, I have Kopi and Kim here from Great Day. I have a ton of questions for them, so we're going to get right to it. Hey, how you guys doing, first of all?
Great, thank you.
We just did no complaints. It's all wonderful.
Okay, sweet. I'm glad you guys enjoying yourselves the first 10 seconds here. Cool. So let's get right into it. So I first want to talk about like where each of you are from and how you guys ended up in Fresno. So if you can start and go left to right.
I was born and raised in San Rafael, California, just north of San Francisco. How did I get here from there? Worked in a lot of different places around the country, but in what year? 2003, I came here to start Great Day and work with Kopi.
Yeah. And I was born in Greece. I'm an immigrant. Came to America in 1951 with my parents. It took us 18 days to come on ship and come into Fresno. We had family that brought us here. And so this is where I grew up, went to Fremont Elementary, Hamilton Junior High School, Fresno High, and 5 semesters at Fresno City College.
Okay, nice. So you were in Fresno your whole life. Well, I mean, not the whole life. But
yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
But I grew up here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
My
cool.
formative years were here.
Yeah, most of it. So how did each of you end up in broadcasting? I'm curious if that was always in the plans, that just happened after time you guys ended up in that field.
My dad worked in television up in San Francisco, and so I was always interested in the box, but he was behind the scenes. He did some radio work, and I always listened to his voice in the morning when I was getting ready for school, really young. But I was interested in the television, but way too shy to be on camera. Yeah. I never anticipated it. So when I went to college, didn't know what I was going to do. Finally, 5th year, senior year, I thought I was going to get into advertising, but then I had an internship in a newsroom, and it was crazy, chaotic, crazy.
I can imagine.
And I'm like, this is where I belong. It just felt like that's my personality. I mean, I'm not crazy.
No.
But I like to be around.
She's crazy enough for this business.
Okay.
And it fits. Yeah. It's wonderful.
So I like to ask questions. I like to be around energy and information and activity, and so that's why I got into it.
Okay. And have you always had like a curious nature?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how I realized that, oh wow, this is like where I naturally fit. I wish it hadn't taken me so long to figure it out, but at least, I graduated knowing what I wanted to do, and I found a job.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. In 7th grade, I was limited to 3 questions a day in my class. I would always ask a ton of questions.
I can see you as being an inquisitive one.
So yeah, it kind of works out here nowadays. I'm using it to my advantage.
You said 7th grade. Something happened to you in grade school that kind of prompted you to start,
absolutely.
Right?
Good point. In Fremont Elementary School, we had a talent show in the 6th grade. And, I can't sing, I can't dance, can't do much of anything, but I could talk.
Yeah.
So they had me MC, and I even have a photo, black and white photo about this big, where everybody's on stage behind me that was in the talent show. The guys have imitated the Kingston Trio, and it was wonderful. Yeah. And all the talent, and I'm in front like this.
Yeah.
With my suit.
Yeah.
6th grade.
6th grade.
With my suit and tie. And I thought, hey, this is fun.
Yeah.
So I did theater, plays in junior high and high school. And when I finished Fresno High, I went to City College, and I just, get the general education stuff out. It took me 5 years because there's so much, 5 semesters. Okay. It took me so much to learn, And then I found a broadcasting department at LA City College, pure broadcasting. So I transferred down there, took 18 units, got going, and then I went to LA State for about 2.5 quarters, did not like it, transferred to San Francisco State, and that's where I graduated by bachelor's in communications. I ran the camera. I wasn't really a newsman or reporter, I just, we took the classes and took journalism and stuff, and then you find your way. I mean,
Yeah.
you find your way.
So I'm
and
sure
you're
you
doing
guys
great.
work very hard. Like you do a lot of position before you end up as the main anchors or.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
don't
you
just-
have to work your way.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
they don't just hand that to you. See, I'm sure you guys have done. What positions did you start out doing? Like your first positions within broadcasting?
Well, my first job out of college in 1988 was the morning anchor. However,
Oh, okay.
I was also, that was weird, it was also 1988,
Yeah.
so it was a long time ago. But I was also the producer, the writer, the editor, I mean, I did it all.
Not once though.
No, I did, including
Oh.
running the teleprompter for my show. It was just me. I put together that. I mean, they were cut-ins, so
And
it
what
wasn't
town was
like.
this in? What city?
Yeah.
And that was in Bakersfield.
Oh man, we must have been dire times.
So it was well.
I mean, it was just like they trusted you that much to do it, or was it like?
I thought I was 22 years old. They just had an opening to fill.
Okay.
And I got lucky that I didn't make so many. I made a lot of mistakes, but not enough to.
I'm sure when you're starting out in this profession, like you're gonna make a ton of mistakes. Like it's just natural, right? I mean.
Yes.
Pretty much anything, unless you're a doctor. Hopefully not.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
you make it that far.
yeah, but nowadays, I mean, look at you. You get to do this.
Yeah.
You're doing this before even graduating, or right at graduation. At Fresno State, you get to do all that,
Yeah.
and you get the on-the-job training before you're really on the job in front of like tons of people. I didn't have that. I made all my mistakes
Yeah.
in front of a big community.
I got you. Oh man. And then what about for you, Kopi? How did
Well,
that start out?
I finished San Francisco State, came back to Fresno, started looking for work, and Channel 26. I went to Greece to see family first for the summer, and since we left, I never knew them, so I had to go back and get acquainted with my family.
Oh, come on, you're showing off. After college, I
Yeah.
took a trip to Europe.
Yeah, well, it was cheap. And I had family to stay with, so I freeloaded. But anyway, in October 1971, Channel 26 went on the air. In the meantime, I'd been passing out resumes, making the rounds in the valley, and I got a call. They said, "Could you come in for an interview?" And I went in for an interview, and they hired me to be a commercial copywriter for 3 months. Now, at that time, Channel 26 had all religious programming because it paid cash.
Oh.
There was no commercial. I'm
got
serious.
you, yeah.
So because it paid cash, and it was a startup, a lot of investors, and
And the station was in Visalia.
the station was in Visalia, 2600 South Mooney Boulevard, therefore Channel 26. And Mike, Pete, and Harry Pappas, three brothers, started it. They had Cajun K-Bus Radio in Tulare, and they started. And they hired me to write commercial copy for 3 months. That's all it was, $100 a week. I was rolling in the dough, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I finished the 3 months, October, November, December, and I thought, well, that's it. I got to go find another job. They called me in, and Mr. Pappas, Harry, called me and said, we like you, blah, blah. And I stayed on for 6 years, wrote commercial copy, and then hosted Dialing for Dollars, edited, shot video. At that time we were doing commercials, 60 millimeter film.
Yeah.
We did everything just like you did, but we didn't have news. Ours was more on the commercial side. Because it had just started, no news at all. It was just religious programming till 3, and then little by little, they changed it over. Our first live show was Phil Donahue, or television show was Phil Donahue. And little by little, as the money, I guess, came in, there was less religion and more commercial programming. Now, so that's where I ended up, and that's how I got started. And I stayed there for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So now I want to transition to talking about, I would assume what most people know you guys for, and that's being on Great Day. I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys do a ton of stuff, and I know that. We're going to get into that. But we'll start with Great Day, because that's the big program you guys are on. So how did each of you end up as the positions that you are currently in within Great Day? How did you work up to that? I know Kopi kind of already talked about it. But just like to dive deeper into it. How did you end up as the anchor and meteorologist is the official title?
Well, no, I'm a weatherman.
Okay.
I do not have my meteorologist. I'm not a meteorologist.
Okay,
I'm a friendly weather guy. Hey, it's hot.
Yeah, just give what you see. Okay, so how did you end up in each of those positions?
Well, I was up in the Bay Area at the NBC station, and I was looking for another place to go. I wanted to go someplace where we had a better quality of life. My husband, my son, and I were just, it was hard to afford to live where we lived. And so my husband saw that they were starting a show here. And one of my maids of honor actually was up for the job years earlier.
Okay.
Kristen Hoke.
Yeah.
Kopi and Kristen were
Audition.
they were going to be Great Day, or
Yeah.
Good Day maybe.
Yeah. Well, that was in Sacramento. That's where we went to Sacramento.
Okay.
Where Harry owned Channel 31 in Sacramento. That's where we went and did our audition on
Okay,
their
so
set.
they auditioned on the Good Day set, and they
Yeah.
were going to create Great Day here. but it never happened. My friend told me about it. She left and went someplace else. So she recommended that I apply. And so I did. And obviously the rest is good.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, because I think we had five applicants come in, 5 female applicants come in for the job, and they were all wonderful. They all could have done the job, but when Kim came in and we sat down on the set, and it was a 4 or 5 minute audition, whatever it was, you know, the two of us back and forth, never had met. You know,
No,
just
we
like,
had never met.
here, sit down. Here's a stranger that you just, hi, how are you?
Right.
Let's see the magic.
Right.
After that audition, there were meetings, and I was part of them. I went in, and there was no doubt that Kim was the one and only to choose. Very simple.
Yeah.
And this is not, you know,
Because she's sitting next to you.
that's,
No.
yeah, no, that's the reality. She was the one that had the spunk, the intelligence, the quickness, the talent, the personality. You were the best.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear the
And
genuine
so
love for each other here. It might be a little awkward otherwise, guys.
No.
But yeah, no, I can definitely tell you guys have a great relationship. And I want to talk about the average day on Great Day. Like, the show goes on at 5 in the morning, right?
Sure.
Five. Okay, so let's start the day with what time you guys are waking up just to make it to the show at 5 in the morning. Let's go from there. What's the day consist of?
Well, my alarm, I've now pushed it to 2:30. I then push the snooze, and then I read emails and things. I get to work probably by 4:15 at the latest. You get in much earlier than I do.
I get in, but I wake up about the same time. I used to wake up at 2, and I said, you know, I'm almost 70. I think I'm going to wake up at 2:30 now.
Yeah, and you feel so much better. Right?
Yes, I
Big
feel so
difference.
much younger, you know, just dancing around the set. So I push it back to 2:30. You know, I live dangerously. Okay, I live dangerously. So and I'm there by 3:30. You know,
It
something
takes
like
him
that.
less time to do his hair.
Yeah, and makeup.
I understand.
Just a few spots here and there. Little spots cover them up. You know. And I just I'm fortunate enough to have a weather producer. When I was doing the 10 o'clock news, because I started out doing the 10 like in 1990, did that until 2003, four, and I did both shows for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I would do my own graphics, you know, but. Graphics excelled to the point where they excelled beyond my mental ability, which means I ain't
No,
smart enough.
he's too busy. There's no way to be able to do both jobs.
So they have a weather producer that puts it for me together, which is I'm very thankful for. And but we go over this stuff, and then I go out and shoot, you know, 10-day forecast, Great Day Faces, doing events, bring them in, and I log them, and then have the editors edit them for me. Before the Great Day, I would do all the editing myself, all that stuff. You know, I would go out and shoot stories. I did job swaps for a whole year. I did garden stories for a whole year. I'd go out and shoot them, and wait. You know, after the show, stay till 2 or 3 in the morning just to edit them. You know, but it was fun. I loved doing it because we love what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we're very thankful.
You can tell.
You know, absolutely. So, but you know, the hours are wacky, and you know that too. You've been in the business long enough, but it's like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's wonderful.
I heard
We're
it's
blessed.
like a 24-hour job in a way, you know, like you're always doing something related to broadcasting.
Yeah, you know, and that's one thing I tell my students too, is that you don't really ever turn off, because we're a constant student of the world, and we have to keep up on what's going on.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows, I mean,
Hey, you're supposed to keep it a secret, the whole Fresno State teaching thing. I was going to announce to everybody your... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well,
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, well, rewind. You know, I mean, we go live on Great Day around the world and up to the International Space Station.
Yeah,
And it could happen where in our earpiece, the producer says, breaking news, we're going live. And then we're still talking about another story, and we're waiting, wondering where
what's
are we
break?
going live?
Yeah.
What is the information? And they'll tell us a little bit, and we need to know. You know, like
Definitely.
so we're going to take you down to the border. Well, I think I know what that topic's going to be. Or we're going to take you to DC. Well, shoot, what's it going to be? You know, so we have to be up
to date kind of on
everything.
everything. Yeah, and that can be tough, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of have to know a little bit of everything just in case. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, sitting next to her on the set all these years, Kim, breaking news, all of a sudden the wheels are rolling, and you see her on the computer calling up the latest story of where the city is, and then find out what's going on, and she can ad-lib and improvise for 5, 10, 15 minutes on a story, on something that just broke, by looking and just getting glimpses of what's going on,
piecing it together,
and her own intelligence and ability as an anchor pulls her through, and you know, she could have been in New York. You know,
Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. And
I
watch
also
her.
took tap dancing classes.
Well,
Those backups. No.
just in case something to fall back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is who we have on the show. Kim Stevens, that is just wonderful.
Well, it's a cover your butt ability, really.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to look like
You
an
don't wanna be on
absolute
the live
idiot not
station,
knowing what
yeah.
I'm doing, so I just
But she has the ability to
preparation.
just,
Try a lot of like,
Yeah.
like in a good kind of stress, you know, like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to be prepared here. Like
Right.
otherwise they're going to like not,
yeah,
I don't know exactly how to put it, but you know what I mean? Like you got to look like you know what you're talking about in every
Yes.
situation.
yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about with Great Day, the vibe of the show is, I mean, I've only lived in 2 cities in my life, right? So I'm comparing this to my hometown and then like here
What was your
Toronto.
hometown?
So, okay, so yeah, I lived in Rockland, California, shout out. No, okay.
Rockland, yeah.
Yeah, so Rockland,
Yeah.
near Sacramento,
Sacramento,
yeah.
yeah.
So then, and then Fresno. And with Fresno, it can be a very negative news environment. Like, I mean, every day there's something terrible going on where I was never used to that in Rockland. Like, I just wasn't exposed to it. And I would
Yeah.
come visit my grandparents and I would see the news and I didn't want to watch it because it was like really, it would be like 5 depressing stories and then 1 like happy story, you know?
Yeah.
The Great Day, I feel like tries to like, you guys report on obviously all the stuff that does happen, but you guys
Sure.
try to keep a very positive vibe with the show, which I really appreciate. And there's a few specific elements and segments of the show that I've always found interesting. You guys seem to have always done it. The first being the jingle that you do every time you do the 10-day forecast. I'm gonna butcher right
Well,
now.
that's all right. No. What?
Kopi's 10-day
Exclusive 10-day
exclusive
forecast.
10-day forecast. Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, go check that out because it's hilarious. He gets a lot of people to do it. But what's the origin behind that? Did you just want to do it, or?
You know, I picked up a camera one day when I started doing the 10. I started videotaping, and then a friend of mine, Tom Hyatt, said he had his daughter over at St. Anthony. He says, "Could you go read to the kids?" They were like elementary school at the
Yeah.
time, and I said, "Sure." And then I read to the kids, and it was wonderful. And then another teacher called, so that developed. So I started taping them, and I did my own taping. On the 10. I would do segments, you know, with video behind me doing, you know, tomorrow's forecast, 9, noon, and 5. I'd go shoot cows, or I'd shoot stuff that was weird.
Yeah.
And have fun with it, play
have some
off
fun
of
with it,
it.
yeah.
I'd chroma key myself in front of the set as if I was in outer space, and we put space video behind me. I'm taking food to the astronauts, and then they'd roll me off, you know, like I'm flying out into space, and the numbers would come up. So it just developed,
Yeah.
you know, out of just. If I picked up a VHS camera out of the news director's office one day, started shooting, and here we are, 10-day, the stretch, Great
Yeah.
Day faces, and all this, the other stuff I've done over the years. And that's all that's.
So it was
nobody told me to
your
do
idea.
it.
That's what I was wondering. So it was your idea,
Oh,
technically.
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all of that was his idea.
Uh-huh.
He came up with
It just it developed, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't say 3 years from now I'm going to do 10-day forecast. It was just
Just
the
happened,
situation that happened, and we're still doing it, and people like it, and I get calls to go to events and MC, and just like you do, you know, and then I'll tape them.
Yeah.
I don't take the people that I get the MC with.
So that's just kind of, that was something you did yourself. I didn't even think about that. I'm so happy to hear that like you just took the initiative and did that instead of like
Yeah.
just being told to do that. That's cool that like
Oh, yeah.
you do have the freedom. It sounds like you have a little bit of freedom to kind of add your own spin on things a little bit. I don't.
Well, I think that was also in the early days.
Yeah, the early
Things
days.
Okay, yeah.
A lot looser, you know. We were locally owned at the time,
Uh-huh.
and they just kind of, yeah, go ahead. And if
Yeah.
it works, great. If it doesn't, well, we won't do it. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never really asked. I just started doing them, and here we are.
Okay.
But it's been a great ride. 43 years.
Yeah.
Minus 10.
Another thing you guys do too is you guys, I don't know if a lot of stations do this. Like I said, I've only seen 2 really, but you guys like to do the birthday segment where you announce like birthdays
Yeah.
and people coming up. Is that something you guys have always done? Like just like since social media's been around, or maybe before that?
It was before social media.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
shout
no,
out.
we
It was-
did it
yeah.
from virtually the very
The
beginning.
beginning. Yeah.
And it has been a conversation through the years,
Yeah.
actually, where, man, are we going to keep doing it? Because at first, we didn't really have a very good technological, graphical way to make it happen. It was really tedious and time-consuming for the poor graphics guy or girl. And so every once in a while, we'd say, man, are we going to keep doing this? And we all kept saying, we got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And so we just do. And I think at least one other station did after we did, and I don't know if they still do now, but we stick to it.
Yeah.
And people like it, you know. Their kids are on, or
Yeah.
their grandmothers
That's what I think
on.
it's for, the kids, like the grandmas, you know,
Yeah.
people just have a good time with it, and
Yeah.
it's once a year. So I was
Yeah.
going to ask though, is there anybody, that you guys recognize just from that? You know what I mean? Like they're on every year, like they always come on
Oh,
for their birthday.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's a De Los Santos family, I think it is, or something from the South Valley. They have like quadruplets or something. And
Yeah.
for a while, every year they
Yeah.
would come up, and I haven't seen them in a while.
Oh.
I'm sure they graduated and
Yeah.
gone on, you
And
know.
so, I've outgrown this. I
Yeah.
guess. But you know what's interesting? I'll go out and about, and people, like they're on a birthday or a 10-day forecast or a great day or whatever, and they tape these segments, and they have a library, not a library, but a collection of whatever
Yeah.
their kids have been on, and they'll come on and say, when we have family, we put them on and show our kids on TV.
Yeah.
So it's more than just airing it. It means something to them. It's kind of
I mean,
a
they can
little
always show it
history.
to 'em,
Yeah.
Of showing their kids on TV. It's not the end all, but for them, they appreciate it
Something,
and
I
they
think
enjoy
so. I
it.
definitely agree with that. And that's cool that you guys have fought, to keep that on, to
Yeah.
continue that. And the final thing that I notice you guys do, and I know other stations do this, I know this at least, is the cooking segment
Yeah.
in the kitchen. I don't know what the official name of it is. Do you guys have
Just
it?
cooking.
Yeah.
We have a cooking section.
Yeah, cooking segment. So, what are some of the most unique dishes? I know you might not know all of them, but like any really unique ones that stood out to you, like over the years that you've had on.
Well, really, I don't know about the dish, but about the situation where there was a fire.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Or where there was so much smoke and you were
Yes.
so hysterical, you was like, oh, it's 40-day schedule,
I'm sorry, was the
and we
fire
could not
live
see
on
him.
air?
Well, okay, so he lit the thing on, wasn't it like a flambe that
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
out of control?
Way,
like,
way out of control.
He added too much bourbon or something,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then went whoosh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But I can't really, I mean,
Nothing really bad, but it was fun. We
Yeah.
had fun with it.
Yeah.
Scorched my eyebrows. But,
Okay.
there are a couple times, if there's a lot of pepper, I'm waiting for him to sneeze.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to sneeze.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
There was one time where chef said, it's not fully cooked, said out of
Yeah.
the corner of his
Yeah.
mouth.
Jeez.
So we're just going to eat around the
Yeah.
edge. I don't want you to
That
get
was
sick. I'm like,
hilarious.
okay,
Yeah.
no
I mean,
problem.
the blood was dripping down the side of the
Okay,
set.
yeah,
But
very
other than that,
careful.
nothing
Yeah.
If you
serious.
guys want some extra days off, maybe you just take a bite.
Yeah.
I got you.
No, I'll eat the whole thing. I'm out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's not your fault.
Yeah. But when we started the show, it was looser. We did bits and
Yeah.
all kinds of
Yeah.
different things, and it was fun. We had Mac and Maxine that came down with the word of the day. Two monkeys that would come down with, and we created our art department created a nice open,
Yeah.
and they'd come and off to the side. It was on a pulley. One of the crew members
Oh,
would
geez.
whoop, and
Really
they'd bring us the
old-fashioned.
word of the day. We'd read
Yeah.
the word of the
That was
day,
fun.
and it was wonderful.
We were always learning something new.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure,
and it was
yeah.
great. We still have Mac and Maxine hanging around, but they've retired. They're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
They're 87 and 99. or something.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I threw pies at him.
Yeah,
And he cracked
eggs
on
her
my
head.
head.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done really wild things.
Yeah.
I'm glad the egg thing's over.
Yeah,
I'm-
I sat in a
sure.
freezer,
I'm sure.
to see how cold it is. A
Oh, that's
block
right.
of ice
1
to see how long
July.
it melts.
Yeah.
Takes- So we've done crazy stuff,
Yeah.
But
And
And is it
We
kind of
don't
stuff
do it
that
as
you
much.
can't? I was gonna say, is it kind of stuff that you can't necessarily in the commercialized world now? You can't get away with as much. Or is it just that you don't really want to do it as much now that you've been around for a while?
oh, I don't know if it's. I'll happily throw more pies
Yeah.
at you. I'll
Okay.
try to aim
Yeah.
better.
yeah, one of
It
them.
went a little too south.
it went a little too
but
Hello, kid. How are you?
Oh my god.
yeah, I felt that. He's fine. And
I have 2 kids.
right. I don't think that there is anything that we don't want to do.
I agree.
But we now have just a different formatting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the company, the ownership does research and says that people want this, this, and this, and they don't want really,
They haven't come up with pie in the face yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what
So
people
things are a little less free flowing.
And I'm sure there's positive and negatives to each side of that.
Yeah.
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 Definitely. Cool. So the final question I have for
Yeah.
this part of the interview
Yeah.
is the whole tie and shirt situation that Kopi has on
Yeah.
the show. What was the origin behind that? And
Pick a tie, the pick a tie.
Yes, pick a tie, pick a shirt.
I just came up with the idea, about the ties. Pick a
He's
tie.
got a gazillion ties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many, and people. I did about 2 weeks ago. There was the shop on Blackstone that closed down. The head shop. Gosh, I can't remember.
Head
Well,
shop?
they sold all kinds of 60s things, but it was legal. Darn. Well, I forget the name of it. But anyway, it's closed down. The owner passed away, and her sister brought me a bunch of wacky ties.
Wow, that's really nice.
So I'm going to start using those. But it was just an idea.
Yeah.
You know, pick a tie Tuesday.
Well, yeah, but you said also on the 10, he used to change his tie
Ties,
in
yeah.
the middle of the newscast.
Yeah.
Oh,
He'd
geez.
start off the news
Yeah,
with
and
one
end
tie.
up with a few different ones.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
And just see if
it's
the
And
people
so
would
many
notice
you're
it.
trying to cycle through them, or?
Yeah, no, I just
Yeah.
wanted to see, you know, what people would
Just
say.
for
you know,
fun.
Just
Yeah,
for fun.
I got
It was
you.
The
a-
boss never got mad,
No,
so
no,
you
good,
were
good.
fine.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's just been a great ride. You know, it's just been fun. And of course, we have Jim Della Vega on the show now, and he's a wonderful addition. Accomplished author, a great sense of humor, great reporter. He's had a
He used to be a news director.
Yeah, news director. Yeah. So he's, I mean, the guy's amazing. He's just wonderful. He does our live shots now in the morning. I'll tell you what, it's a wonderful team.
And Tiana's in the morning too,
Yeah,
reporting
she's
live.
new.
Yeah, you can tell it's a great team.
She
You guys
has
seem
won.
very happy with
She's
your
won
working
3
there.
Emmys this year, recently.
And that was after the other Emmys she won a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So we're really, I mean, it's wonderful. And now if we could just start at 9 and go to 10.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, if we could just not have to be up so early.
Yeah.
I got you.
That's really the only, and I don't want to say it's a complaint, because it's not,
No.
I don't.
You know, we're not digging
It's not a-
ditches.
Yeah.
Right.
We do what we like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I retract what I just said. How's that?
All right, good, good.
Did you edit that out?
No,
Did you edit
we got
that
you.
out? I have a pair of scissors. Oh no, that's in the old days.
Oh, that was back in the old days. Cool. So I have a ton of more questions I
Sure.
want to ask. So we're going to be going to check in with Ryan with Daring Adventure, and then we're going to be checking back in with Kim and Kopi for some more interview questions. Stick around.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Daring Adventure Episode 3. Today we're at Exotic Car Rentals, and as you can see, they got some crazy nice cars. So let's go take a look around. So we had the opportunity to take a look at the 458 Spider. Now we're gonna bring the Lambo up and get some more close-up shots of that. It's gonna be pretty dope. Oh, sounds so good. Sounds too good. Yeah, so now the Lambo.
All right, I am Kevin Massessian. I am the founder of Exotic Supercar Driving Experience here in Fresno. Sure. I started this venture because I have a love for cars. I started my car collection back when I was about 21 and I bought my first sports car. I was about 25. It was a Porsche convertible. And ever since then, I've loved going to the track and racing. And there's a pretty good sized car community here in Fresno. So we love to get together and have a group of us. We meet, we go for a drive, and we have lunch. So that's kind of that's how I started this business. Yeah. The best part for working for the company or having this business is really when the customer comes back after taking the car out and they just have this smile on their face, and I mean, they're just ecstatic for the whole day, for the weekend. You know, we had a mom go out and And she said her son is still talking about the trip. So, and that was like, 3 weeks ago. So I enjoy the excitement that these cars bring to other people. So
How can people find you?
they can find us several ways. Come by our location here at Palm and Herndon. We're right next to CarMax, northeast corner. Come see the cars, check them out, and see which one you'd like to drive. We're also on all the social media platforms: Instagram, Exotic Fresno, Facebook, Exotic of Fresno, and that's it. That's the best way. Website, oxoticfresno.com, and just give us a call. Some encouragement to others would be just, you definitely have to work hard. Nothing is ever handed to you in life. I started working when I was about 11 years old for my dad, mowing lawns, and then worked at a family business, called Fabriger when I was 13. So all throughout high school, I worked on the weekends, I bussed tables, I waited tables. Save your money and work hard and invest into something that you believe in. To me, that's the key for success.
All right, I think that's it. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of Daring Adventure. Huge shout out to Exotic, and we'll see you next month with another adventure. Till next time.
Welcome back from episode 3 of Daring Adventure. Like I said, I have a ton more questions for Kim and Kopi here, so we're going to get right into it. So we're going to move away from Great Day now.
Sure.
We're going to talk a little about you guys' personal lives and just
Sure.
personal stuff here. So I have a super personal question to start off with. Let me know if I go too far, okay? Because I apologize if I do. What did you guys think of the NBA Finals? I got to know.
I'll tell you what, I was really happy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the 49ers did a great job.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what, I was overwhelmed. I couldn't contain my emotions.
I think I'm the only one in my house who was rooting for the Warriors because I'm from the
Yeah.
Bay Area.
Okay.
So I was rooting for him too.
Yeah, I was just rooting for it to be over. I felt so bad. I felt so bad for LeBron after the first game. I was like,
You felt bad for LeBron.
I mean, if J.R. Smith ever sees this and he's gonna come after me, I mean, that was
Yeah.
it was pretty bad to forget the score like that. But hopefully he doesn't see this, or maybe hopefully he does. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that'd be pretty far to reach right there. But yeah, so I just wanted to break the ice a little bit before we get into it. So the big thing that I wanted to talk about, and we kind of already spoiled it a little bit, is that you guys do a lot of things outside of Great Day and in your lives in general. So you are a teacher at Fresno State, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that a little bit. What do you do at Fresno State? What classes are you teaching?
I teach I will be teaching 2 classes in the fall, news writing, on-air news writing for broadcast and web, and also the newscast class. I've also taught on-air performance,
Okay.
and I've been doing that since 2015.
And then what made you want to get into teaching?
Well, a teacher that I had a long, long time ago that did not inspire me. And I decided that I would like to be inspired.
Yeah.
And so I would like to be able to do that and give that to students. So a million years ago, back in the 1990s, when I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, I worked a full-time job and I was living there. I had free time. I saw that the ownership company would pay for my extended education.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I thought,
That's a good deal,
what the
yeah.
heck, I should take advantage of this. Because I knew I wanted to teach and I knew I needed to have upper, education. So I got my master's and then had a family and I never had time to teach. But then all of a sudden in 2015, there was an opening, there was a need, and it just happened.
Okay.
Came together.
I
And I'm
gotcha.
so glad.
Yeah, and was it always at a college level, or is that like always what you wanted to do if you were going to
Yeah,
teach?
you know, I mean, I assisted in my kids' elementary, I mean, from kindergarten all the way up.
Yeah.
I helped in those classes. I taught at my church from elementary school all the way up to high school. But no, I really wanted to teach what I do, and that would be best for college students
Yeah.
who are, you know, studying
I
that.
gotcha. And then do you give extra credit if people watch the show? You're like, what did I say this morning?
That's funny. I don't really do that, but I have them watch newscasts.
Uh-huh.
They get to choose whichever newscast
good, yeah.
and critique it and be looking for certain, you know, news elements.
Yeah.
And some, I think they think they're, you know, kind of kissing my,
Yeah, I gotcha.
and they'll, you know, do a great day, but.
But then they critique you, so then maybe it's the opposite, right? Because you said they're critiquing the show, or?
Well, yeah, they're, but it's not performance. They're critique. It
Oh, okay.
all
Technical.
works out.
Yeah, okay. I gotcha.
It's a wonderful. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that I get to.
And then the one other question on that end, do you ever have any students that they're like, man, she looks so familiar, and they go all year, like, I swear I saw her once, and then like they realize at the end of the year, oh yeah, she's on TV every day.
No, because I say
You
it
tell
right at
them,
the
or-
beginning, and I
If it
show.
takes that long, you're in
Yeah,
trouble.
really.
They're out
That
of
means
there's an F right
they're
there.
missing too many classes.
Exactly. No, I show on the first day
Yeah.
my earliest stuff
Mm-hmm.
to prove that, like you had said earlier, you don't just start
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah,
top
no,
where we
absolutely.
are. You really work your way up and you make your mistakes and you look, I mean, a lot of time goes by. Nobody in this town really has seen me report every single day
Yeah.
or be live at breaking news at a whatever. So I show it to my students. These are all the things and all the places I traveled for breaking news, you know, that I did through the years.
Okay, I gotcha. And then on Kopi's end, I don't believe you've done any teaching, right?
No, and
Okay.
the students are lucky.
Yes. So on your end, I wanted to talk about. I believe you were doing some acting in your earlier days. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
so,
it's a good question. It's because I did plays, you know, in high school and all that stuff, and the bug gets you, you know, from the 6th grade.
Yeah, I know.
Talent show.
I can tell.
And so my wife and I have been married a year, and I've always had that desire to go to Hollywood, you know. And I told her even before we got married, I said, Elaine, I got to go to Hollywood. No matter within the year or so, we got to. I was still working in 26, and I said, yes, we got married. About a year later, I quit, and my wife quit her job, and we moved to Hollywood. We had about $1,000 between the two of us, and didn't know anybody in the business. We moved down, found a little apartment in the old Hollywood Courtyard apartments with a fountain in the center, and just beautiful, right at Fountain in Normandy, right in Hollywood. And my wife got a job as a bookkeeper at Thrifty Corporation, and I started taking acting classes, improv classes with Avery Schreiber. I don't know, most of the folks may not know of him, but a comedian. He used to be on TV all the time. So I took improv classes, started doing extra work, you know, just to get the feel of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in Hollywood, to get a job, like in a sitcom or, you know, a regular TV show, you got to be in the Screen Actors Guild. And well, it's tough to get in the Screen Actors Guild if you don't have an acting job. Tough to get an acting job, you know. Goes,
like
you know,
never ends, yeah.
So this is a great story. Again, I was following my dream. I had to do it, and so we made the big sacrifices, especially for Elaine, starting out. I was an extra on a TV movie about Howard Hughes. Tommy Lee Jones was playing Howard Hughes, you know, and they were looking for people they cast people that looked like him. He looked like Howard Hughes, and I got extra work one day to be a reporter. We were in Pasadena at the courthouse, and it has the big steps, you know, up to the big beautiful building, and you know, extras sitting around waiting, you know, to go on set. And assistant director Charlie Ziarko comes out and he says, "Kopi, I want you to be extra as a reporter in this scene. You have the two principals, the woman who was going for divorce proceedings against her husband, Howard Hughes, and a reporter who actually had lines. So they had their lines, right?
Yeah.
I'm just an extra following, you know, walking along with them,
Right.
you know, but I'm into it. So I had the notepad and everything. So I wrote down some questions like, I'm into this, you know, I don't care if I'm an extra. So I've written down, and I'm writing down what they're saying, you know, and we get to the top of the stairs, you know, the marble steps way up there at the courthouse, and the camera's up there shooting down as we're going up. That was the shot. And I threw out a question that I'd written down. Why are you divorcing Howard Hughes? Don't you love him anymore? Real sarcastic. And And the director said, cut. And he said, what do you mean you guys didn't get that? What do you mean he's not mic'd? Mic him. We got to get that line.
Oh, wow.
So it was not in the script. It was nowhere. I opened my big mouth at the right time. The director loved it. They mic'd me. They used it. After we did the scene, one of his assistant directors came and said, you know what, you're not in the Screen Actors deal. We can't use this, but we'll give you $50. And I said, listen, man, I was only in town 6 months, but I said, I've been struggling here for about 3 or 4 years. This is a big break for me to get into the Screen Actors Guild. Anything you could do. He goes back to the producer, Roger, and I forget his last name, great guy. The AD came back and says, here's his number, the producer's number. You give him a call. I called him up. He says, come to my studios, CBS Studios in Radford City. It was an MTM production. So I go for an appointment on such and such a day to go up to his office to work out the line so they can use it. Yeah. And so I'm with this in Hollywood. This never happens in Fresno. Yeah. So I'm going into the lobby of the studios there, and I hit the elevator, go up to this third floor, and it opens right up again, and this guy comes in with a tattered shirt, shorts kind of tattered, and a little old lady next to him, and I said, oh my God, who's this guy? I froze. It was Paul Newman. Standing next to me with maybe his mother, grandmother, I don't know. So, what do you say to Paul Newman? Nothing, because you don't make a fool out of yourself. Not a word. So he got off at the second floor. I went up to the third floor.
Were his eyes as blue as...
yeah, they were so blue as the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, unbelievable. Okay. And I'm sure he was saying the same thing about me. He says, what do I say to Kopi Sotiropulos? He did Dining for Dollars in Fresno.
I'm more nervous, honestly.
Yeah, so mutual admiration, we both kept our mouths shut.
Ultimately got the SAG.
So I went into the office. Yeah. The producer was great. He wrote a letter to the Screen Actors Guild, said, we are looking for a person that looks like so-and-so in the movie. Kopi Sotiropulos has agreed to join, and the union agreed. I would cut my little pinky off. Yeah. And I got $172. I had to pay $172 to the Screen Actors Guild to get in, and then that paid like 300 and something. Oh. Okay. And I got into the Screen Actors Guild.
Wow.
And you still are a member.
Oh yeah, I pay my dues. Oh yeah, because...
So once you're in, as long as you pay?
Yeah, you pay, yeah. And because you never know. Yeah. You just never know.
I got you.
And it's like $200 a year, But it was great because the Screen Actors Guild, I still get residuals. I mean, I've gotten a residual as low as... I did some voice work on the Love Boat once. Remember the old Love Boat? They'd gone to Greece in the summer in film segments, and they needed some Greek talking, like a waiter and other things. So I did 3 jobs. And it was like $333 per job. That was the scale at the time. It's up to $1,000, I think, a day. So I did it. About 3 years later, I get 3 residuals in 3 separate envelopes, right? 1 penny each. So it cost them more to process and mail it. But that's the way it is. They keep track of your... And I still get residuals, Nothing great, but, enough, to keep...
Yeah, and then I want to hear, so your big role in Fresno, or at least you talked about it a few times now, but it's Dialing for Dollars. I know it's like it was a kind of a game show, right?
Yeah. It was a guy. In the afternoon, we show a movie in the afternoon. We had a big wheel that you spin.
And lots of communities had it. San Francisco had it
Channel
as well.
2. Pat, not Cooper, McCormick. As a matter of fact, I went to Channel 2 and spent a day with him. He taught me a lot so I could learn, so I could do better. Before we started the show, they sent me up.
And that's where my dad worked.
And if I'd known, I would have said hello to him. But yeah, so Pat McCormick, I went and talked with him and spent the day and watched him work. So it was great. It got me in, it helped me out a lot.
So then the premise for the show is that you said like it's a movie.
You spin, and people guess, it goes around, and they're going to guess the number that it's going to fall on,
And then what do they win?
And money, cash.
How do you know, though, that they guessed right and didn't make it up later?
Well, you know what? How did that work?
Did they mail stuff?
I'm trying to figure. We pick a name. We pick a name. Oh, okay.
It was a telephone.
Right? Yeah, it was over, but it's a telephone. We cut up the telephone book, and I pick out a name.
Oh,
slip, okay.
You know what a telephone book is?
Yeah. You remember those? And then I'd pick a name. We'd already spun it. Right?
I see.
Okay. And then I'd say, "Hi, this is Kopi. So is this Mary Jones? Mary, this is Kopi." And then we would say...
If she had watched and knew, then okay.
And then, but of course, when we're talking, we don't show it on screen. Just... And then they'll take a guess, and some will win, some we're actually watching, So that's how they won. And I remember our last day, we gave, I think, $1,100 away. It was the last day, the last call of the show.
Where'd the money come from?
Brown paper bag, I don't know.
Just had it. Cool. Then my final question for kind of the personal side of things is I want to know, and maybe the answer is nobody, but have you ever interviewed someone or like been a part of something like where you were just totally like starstruck and it kind of like tripped you up a little bit while you're interviewing them on your show or just in general, or has that really
because they were starstruck
Yeah.
and were tongue-tied?
There we go.
I don't know. I do that with anybody. You know,
Okay.
I don't wait for stars to get tongue-tied.
Yeah.
My normal speech
It doesn't even be
patterns.
like, not even like stars, like, okay, they're like celebrities, like just anybody that
Well,
like,
like Bruce
you look up to
Campbell,
or
we got to
anything.
introduce him.
We
or
got,
interview him.
we
That
got
was,
to interview Bruce Campbell, great guy. Okay.
but you never got tripped up or anything.
No, but I interviewed him before when I was doing the tennis segment down Hollywood. We went down and interviewed him. But we had, oh my goodness, his daughter was married to, oh man, I can't remember his name.
Are you thinking Andy Rooney?
Not Andy Rooney.
Okay. Because he and his wife Jan were so wonderful.
The ones that adopted a lot of kids and they just divorced about a year ago.
You mean that? Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Kate and
No. She.
oh,
Yeah, you got it.
I'm lost on this.
Tori Spelling.
Not Tori Spelling.
Oh, that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Had a lot of kids.
yeah, they adopted a lot of kids and then they got the divorce.
So they were on the show though? It was
No,
kind
no.
of like,
Her father was on the show. We had her father. I'll think of it after. Dadgummit, I can't remember.
Well, anyway,
I see
did
his
you-
face. I see his
Were
face.
you excited? Did you get tongue-tied? Were you nervous?
No, I was just excited to interview him.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
okay.
so you get interviewed.
Because he was
I
awesome.
there on that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, no, we were.
We was together, we were
No,
together.
remember I said, we interviewed him and I said, it's a far cry from this role to this role, with the movie with Dustin Hoffman and, for Christ's sakes. You know, when you turned out to be 70, you made it
Yeah,
back
we'll have to
for
come
it.
back to this one. If it pops up,
I
we'll
don't
bring it
know.
up.
Yeah.
But I'll just bring it up because when I eventually have like Brad Pitt on the show, you know, I'm gonna be
Brad Pitt! Okay, Brad Pitt's wife.
We interviewed Angelina Jolie.
No, her father.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
The show's off the deep end here, folks.
It is.
Sorry.
It is,
Oh
okay.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to interview
We
him.
didn't talk about the kids or
Yeah.
the breakup.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah, I got you.
I got to end. There were two that I remember being a little nervous. I could feel like butterflies a little bit. One was John Tesh because I used to watch him when he did Entertainment Tonight,
Yeah.
and that really got me wanting to be comfortable
Yeah,
in front of
okay.
the camera when I was in school. And his music and musician and he and Connie Salikas, their life and their helping people and stuff. I love that about him. So I was a little
Yeah.
butterfly-ish about it, but it was a great interview. The other person was Julie Andrews.
Oh,
Absolute, and she was so wonderful. They
That's
were
good
both
to hear.
just
Yeah.
wonderful people.
It's always nice to hear when
Yeah,
people are
I
nice
had a
like
one
that.
interview with this one guy face to face who was the biggest jerk in the whole wide world, and I was really disappointed. But bad things happen to bad people down the road, and well, it's happened to him.
Well.
So
And that's that.
he made choices that
I
weren't.
gotcha. Okay, cool. And the final thing I want to talk about, and we always do this with the show, is basically people's influence within Fresno, especially people that have been in Fresno for so long and just had an impact on it. So I know both of you are involved with a lot of organizations. You do a lot of community service stuff. So I would love if each of you could just like talk a little bit about what you do for the community of Fresno.
Go for it.
I don't know. Beg that you keep me employed. What do I do? I don't know. Lots of different things.
She speaks at a lot of wonderful events.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't just say one because I don't want to, just only highlight one. They're just wonderful organizations that if I'm asked to MC or be involved in, and I'm able to, I'm happy to.
So yeah, you just try to give back to your community whenever it's possible. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah.
And then for Kopi, how about you? What organizations or
Well,
community service
I
are you
really
part
can't
of?
say any specific organizations.
Oh.
You know, the MS Society. I've emceed their events. Evening event. Like you do too. And but I just like going out to the schools and talking to the kids and reading to them, telling them about the importance of getting an education, making good choices. And a phrase I use all the time: "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future."
Totally right on.
Real simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't take brain surgery to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And if they can understand that, it'll make life a lot easier. You know?
Definitely.
But just going out and having fun, just like you do. You're
Yeah.
out and about, people come and talk to you, come talk to me and spend time, because it's a business, but also they're people in our community, and it's just a decent thing to do, spend time with them. You know, take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and listen to them.
Yeah.
I had one man come up to me at a Relay for Life event, and my family and I were walking the survivors track, because my husband's a cancer survivor. This man came up and he grabbed my arm. I thought, oh boy,
no.
this is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And he said, thank you. I'm going through a really painful cancer treatment right now, out of town. When I get back into town, I feel terrible. And he says, and to be honest with you, I'm wondering why I still want to be alive.
Oh, boy.
And it was, and then he and so he says he'll turn on Great Day, and he'll laugh, he'll get caught up in whatever we're doing, and he'll forget about his pain for a little while. And then of course I'm bawling, and I thought, that's why.
Yeah.
That's the reason to do this, is to help people in whatever they're going through. And I don't know what happened to that man, but at least for that moment, we were able to give him some happiness and some peace, and I thought that was really important.
Yeah, and then along the same lines of like stuff like that, like what stories that have you guys covered in Fresno that you feel like have had the greatest impact on you throughout the years that you've been doing this?
I feel bad to say the first ones that pop in my head are little crime ones, and I don't even want to give them a time of day.
Yeah,
They're the
definitely.
first ones that jump into my mind. You know, the ones that always get me are people helping other people.
That's it.
Or
Yeah.
a mother saying, I forgive the person who shot
and killed them.
and killed my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, what? I mean, forgiveness like that, and then trying to help other people in the community. Those are the kinds of things that stick with me.
Those are special people.
Yeah.
Special.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, 'cause I can imagine being in your guys' profession, you guys see a lot of the best and a lot of the worst. So yeah, I'm sure it has a great impact on you all the time. But moving away from that, so what advice do you guys have for the future generation of Fresno anchors, the people that are going to be taking over in the next generation?
I'd like people to listen more to each other, not themselves and their own story that's going on inside. Truly listen before speaking. I would like people to read directions.
I'm sure as a teacher, yeah.
Well, yeah, and just because I'm noticing that people will go off and do something when they've been actually told to do something else,
yeah.
but they're just not, again, they're listening to their own reality, which is not right. So I guess it goes back then to listening or reading, or, you know, those are my, and have you, in this business, I got into this business because of other people's stories, not to be on TV, not to be seen, not to, you know, do all this. It's to share other people's stories. And I would like there to still be people who are more interested in others than themselves.
Yeah, I gotcha,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. I think that kind of capsulizes it pretty good. And by the way, John Voight.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Now,
Boy, I feel better already. John, it just popped into my mind.
Thank you.
I was hoping
John
to win before the
Voight,
end of
great
the-
guy.
Yeah.
And I got to
Yeah,
meet
he
him in
was.
Fresno about 3 years later, and I threw the line out that I said to him
Yeah.
on TV, and he goes,
You're the guy.
"You're the guy."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
John
cool.
Voight,
All
great
right.
actor.
I got it.
Anyway.
And then my final question,
Yeah.
and I know you guys have done a ton for the community. You guys have been the voices of it in a way for the last generation. Or what final legacy do you guys, each of you, want to leave on Fresno, like before the careers are up, or you know, just before you time to retire or whatever happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd love to know like what legacy you'd love to leave behind in the news field or just in Fresno in general.
Just say he was a nice guy and he cared about people. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple enough. Because that's the, you know, it's the bottom line.
I'm not sure if
No
people
matter
say,
what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that the one who cried all the time on TV? And if that is what they say, then maybe they would also say because she was an anchor with a heart.
So
Yep.
passionate, yeah. Moved to tears. I got you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you both coming on the show. I feel like we had a great interview. I had a great time getting to talk to you
Well,
guys.
we had a
very
great
much.
time
Yeah, I
talking
definitely
to you.
appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you,
All
Kopi.
right.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very
Yeah,
much.
of course.
Thank
so,
you.
I
And
wanna-
wish you the best. You're graduating.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Whatever you want to do in the future, wish you the
Yeah.
best.
I hope it works out. Cool. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 3 of Costall On Set. Like I said, I had a great time interviewing Kim and Kopi. And that, you all have a great day.